So today I want to talk about the 2020 cornerback free agency class, cornerback with a C, and I want to just talk about each free agent, where I think they'll end up, and why they end up there. So let's start with the big one, Byron Jones. He's obviously the most talented one. He's 27 years old, and he's gonna expect to get big bucks from a team. And I think a team willing to pay big bucks for a corner right now is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are extremely desperate for cornerback talent, and their general manager Howie Roseman said that they're looking to bring youth and talent to the cornerback position. So expect to see Byron Jones in an Eagles uniform next year. Next on my list, I have Chris Harris, and he's 31 years old, coming to the end of his career, but still extremely talented. But for the fact that I think he's reaching the end of his career, I think he's going to start ring chasing. Even though he already has one with the Broncos, I think he's going to start looking to get one last grasp for a ring. And with that being said, I think the New Orleans Saints are going to pay him good money, short contract, 2-3 year deal to play the cornerback position for the Saints alongside Marshawn Lattimore. And I think that those two will be a fantastic duo for New Orleans. Next up on my list, I have Kendall Fuller, and he's a good one. He's only very young, 25 years old, and I think that the Chiefs can't afford to lose him. Their defense is definitely the weaker part on their offense, and I think one of their top priorities should be keeping Kendall Fuller, and I think they will, aside from signing Patrick Mahomes to a $200 million deal. But that's a whole nother story. Next up on my list, I have a pretty injury-prone player in Ronald Darby, and I think after the Broncos lose Chris Harris, I think that they will bring Darby onto the team to add more depth and to get some good quality cornerback play when he is healthy. So I expect to see Ronald Darby in a Broncos uniform, and so should you. Next up on my list, I have the former 7th round pick in Jalen Mills, and I think he's staying with Philadelphia. I think he loves it there. His nickname is Green Goblin. He has green hair. He's gonna stay in Philadelphia, most likely to a pretty team-friendly contract, and the Eagles definitely need extra corners on their team for the 2020 season. All right, next up on my list, I had Aqib Talib, and he's a shell of his former self. He is not what he used to be, but the Dolphins did trade for him, and I do expect the Dolphins to sign him. So the Dolphins have some sort of a defensive leader to a pretty bad defense. So I expect Aqib Talib to get a pretty small contract from the Dolphins, not too long, maybe 1 or 2 years, and he will probably end his career there. And the last player on my list is one of my favorites in James Bradberry. I think he's very underrated, and I think he's going to go to a team that has a lot of upside in the Bills, and he will be the leader of that defense, and he will excel even more than he was in his former team and become a superstar on the Bills. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the sound of sports.